What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am your less best dressed co-host, JesseKazam.
And I'm Dapper Dan. Listen, I left the house today, so I had to wear clothes.
Did you turn your quality slider up, or is my internet freaking out?
Is it bad?
But it wasn't. But as soon as I introduced you, the quality degraded.
You know, it could be my shirt. Watch. Does it do it now?
Wait, yes. What?
Did it get worse?
Is your quality slider all the way up?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, no.
It could have been just like the
movement of the shirt.
The JPEG compression, like grass. This is literally the fucking shirt version of grass. Wait, what
now
if I don't?
Better. No.
And then now if I do this, it's going to get really bad.
Okay, no. It was both. When you move around, it does get worse, but it got really bad for a second, and now it's better.
Weird.
Okay, anyways. What's up?
I just went to the dentist today, and I got my hair cut, so I stopped at 2 outdoor places today, so it was worth
You're like, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. I
went shopping the other day. I've been meaning to I have a closet full of hoodies and shit that I'm never gonna wear. I only need 3 hoodies.
Yeah.
But I have 50 of them.
Yep.
And they just take up space in my closet. I can never find the shit I'm looking for when I'm looking for it. So I'm just gonna take all of my 90% of my clothes, and I'm just gonna put them in trash bags and bring them to fucking Goodwill.
Boom.
And then because now that I'm a proper adult, at least role playing is one.
Yeah.
I feel like I can until recently I kind of had the mentality that I had when I was in high school, which was I can buy this shirt, but it's only going to be in style for a year and I'm going to grow out of it.
Yeah.
So it's I always kind of had this thing expecting clothes not to last or not to ever be worn again.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not, growing unless I'm growing out. But so it's I should, get some proper clothes I'm going to wear. And also with that in mind, spend a little bit more money to get better quality jeans and some nicer fucking it's hard to justify sometimes spending $200 or $300 on a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
But if they're nice leather boots.
Yeah, that are going to last the rest of your life.
They're going to last the rest of your life. It's
because your feet aren't growing. Yeah.
Yeah. I pay $70 or $80 for sneakers that last me a year and a half.
Yep.
And I buy them new ones, right? So it's but some nice quality leather boots that will never go out of style.
Yeah.
And so there's a few things like that. Meg went and she bought some boots. I'm not even going to say what kind they are. But
got some Uggs.
No, they're
some Supremes.
She was basically she's been doing well, with her job and promotions and stuff. So I've been trying to be you gotta celebrate,
treat yourself.
She's so what's the word I'm looking for? Not conservative.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't want to spend any money
frugal.
on anything. Frugal. She's so frugal, and it's she has a good job, makes good money. It's you're not gonna.
Yeah.
You don't win when you die. What you have in the bank isn't a high score that you get to take. You don't get
yeah.
That you redeem for fucking Tootsie Rolls at the gift shop.
Live a little.
So so we went down to Copley Place in Boston, which is the parking garage. This will tell you the mall. The parking garage. An Audi A6 was the worst car in the parking garage, and it was 3 stories. It was literally Versace, Gucci, all of the high end kinds of places.
Kind of mall.
But then they also had J. Crew, and actually I've been seeing some different shirts. See them on Instagram and whatever that have they're cut a little bit differently, because for the longest time you go to the stores and I'm a skinny guy and things just aren't cut for scrawny motherfuckers. So yeah, I picked up a couple shirts and
Look at you.
yeah,
Hell
well,
yeah. I'm
but I
definitely
got to show
with
you the
that
boots.
though, where I'm now more concerned with like higher quality stuff. Slowly replacing my jeans, my hoodies, my like jackets. I need to get nicer like flannels and t-shirts. I still just wear like Vans and old thrift store flannels, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm getting my big boy wardrobe, my adult wardrobe, slowly but surely.
You're going to fucking Brooks Brothers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wearing a Bahama. What the fuck is the name of it? Bahama
Mama,
Joe.
Bahama Breeze.
Bahama Breeze is banger. Tommy Bahama.
Yeah,
Tommy Bahama. Dude, but they have Bahama Breeze in Florida.
Mm-hmm. I've been there one time.
They also have it up here, dude. Their grilled chicken, cilantro, crema, whatever. It's
sounds amazing.
Fire, dude. It's fire. It's just like a turkey breast, a chicken breast, with like corn, mashed potatoes, and like a green kind of cilantro sort of. Oh, it's hot fire, dude.
Yum.
Good place.
So, what you been up to?
I mean, I literally streamed for 16 hours yesterday.
Dude, right before the podcast, V gave me the tour. The freaking home tour of the giant factory.
Yeah.
Are you still waking up in the middle of the night in a fever dream, sketching out?
Pretty much. Although last night I had one of the most vivid dreams of my entire life. It was this entire like space NASA thing involving like Veritasium, and I was up there, and then someone died. It was one of the most vivid dreams I ever had in my entire life.
Dang. And then how did you feel when you woke up? Sometimes you wake up and you're like, man, that wasn't real. Come on.
Well, I had just witnessed somebody basically get like liquefied in space in front of me, and then someone else, it was their significant other, and in response to that, they just took off their helmet. So it was like,
holy shit! What are your dreams, bro?
I got a dark subconscious, dude. I don't know. It was like a dark ass. It was a dark ass dream, but there was basically like there was like a halo kind of thing around Earth that we had like built.
Okay.
You know, like
the ring.
Yeah, the big ring, but there was like it was sick, and there
until
were just like
someone got liquefied.
Yeah, dude. Imagine there were like these giant cog wheels, which I imagine we probably wouldn't have up in space, you know. But there was these giant cog wheels, and basically they just ended up like drifting, and they, you know, you can't like swim.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So they ended up just like getting like, you know, turned to jelly or whatever, and in the cog wheel. Yeah, dude, it was buck wild. And then of course we've talked about what's the thing where you have no visual?
Oh, what is that called? I don't remember. Yeah, where you don't have like a mind's eye where you see.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Aphantasia. So of course I wake up and I start telling my wife about my dream, and then she does the whole like she's having like an existential crisis now because she's like, what do you mean you see in your dream? I'm like, what do you mean you don't?
Wait, does that mean she doesn't see in her dreams either? That's crazy.
I'm like, so what is it, like a book on tape? Like, what are you?
Yeah,
like,
what are your dreams like?
Like, to me, when I'm dreaming, my brain has been tricked into I'm experiencing the thing.
Yes.
It's like weird, and there's things that don't quite make sense,
of course,
but like my brain doesn't, that like the you know, the reality testing part of your brain is just like out to lunch, you know. But otherwise, like I'm experiencing
for sure,
you know, I'm seeing, I'm feeling, I'm hearing.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. Have you ever had dreams where like the dream ends with you getting like going to bed in your bed. Like, have you ever had a dream where the end of the dream seamlessly just goes into real life?
Nope.
Yeah. I had this like, dude, I was, man, I must have been like, I'm trying to think.
That'd be the end of my reality.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm trying to think of what house we were living in. It was like, I think I was like 13 or 14. And I had a dream that my older brother died. I don't know how, but I had a dream we were at his funeral. We came back to like the after thing. I almost said after party. That's not what happens after funerals. And
kind of
we
is,
like
but-
did the thing. And I just remember the dream ended with me going into my room and going to sleep. And then I woke up in real life and I thought it was just the next day. And it was genuinely like 10 minutes after I woke up that I realized it was a dream. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. It was so weird. And then I remember as a kid, I had a few other dreams where, like, at the time I didn't realize at what point I woke up and at what point, I remember when I was a kid, I had a dream there was like a bee in my room and it was attacking me and I was like calling out for my dad. And at some point I woke up, but I couldn't tell because in the dream I was like freaking out, yelling for my dad. And he came as soon as he heard me. And I remember being so mad. I was like, I was calling for you for so long. And he was like, you literally just like, I don't know at what point I woke up and started actually doing it. It was weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
No, see, like there's never been any question of when it ends.
Yeah.
Like when I wake up, I'm like instantly like, oh, that was a dream.
Yeah. That's a super weird feeling. I don't dream very often, to be honest with you. Or I'm sure I dream all the time, but I don't remember them. Sometimes I remember remembering one. Like sometimes like later in the day I'll be like, man, I had this dream and this morning I was thinking about it, but like they delete as soon as I open my eyes. But I had a few like uber vivid, uber realistic, nothing fantastical about the dream to like clue me in. Like I'm not flying. And then I just like can't tell when the dream ends and when I woke up. It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times in my life and it's mad weird. Uber realistic.
Interesting. So you don't wait a minute. So you don't fuck. So like it's instantly clear that unless your dream ends in your bedroom in your bed, right?
Yes.
It should be like you'd either have lost time.
No, that's where it's the 2 times I remember it happening was both exactly that.
Interesting. I always dream in like it's always in like the house I grew up in. Like it's never I've never in my life had a dream in my life. I've never in the last 8 years I've lived in my house had a dream about this place. It's always like my grandmother's house or the house of my childhood or a friend's house.
Yeah. I've also never once lucid dreamt. Never. I've never been aware that I was dreaming.
It
sucks.
Rad. Dude, it's rad. I've lucid dreamt for sure once that I can remember.
It seems so cool.
It lasted about 5 seconds and it was literally like
I can fly.
Exactly. No, that's literally what happened. I was like, holy shit, I'm dreaming. And I was like, wake up. It's like, no,
Put me back.
Yeah, dude. Having that realization was incredible.
Dude, I want that. I feel like I remember my friends, they could have been messing with me, but like telling me about this thing. There's like this thing you can wear as an eye mask and it shoots like infrared stuff in your eyes and it's supposed to help you lucid dream more frequently. I don't know if that's real.
That sounds like bullshit.
It sounds like bullshit.
Infrared into your eye.
I want it to be real because I want to lucid dream. Imagine.
Were they goggles or what?
I don't know.
Like?
This was forever ago. Imagine you could accomplish tasks in your sleep. Because, like, you know how sometimes there are things you need to do that don't require physical energy. Like, I just need to, like, we have this trip coming up. I just need to make sure, I just need to think about this thing. Sometimes you just got to think about a thing. And imagine you can, like, write a mental to-do list and in your sleep, like, work through the best solution to whatever problem you have or whatever, and then remember that when you wake up. It's like low power mode. Like, you're not all the way asleep and completely unconscious, but you're also, like, not in control of your body.
I mean, that's what just, like, in 5 years, AI will do that for you.
Yeah, true. Like, how can we focus that? How can I focus? How could I focus the mental, whatever my brain is actually doing when I'm dreaming and asleep, into something that I can, like, consciously point and control? Is that possible at any point, maybe, in the next couple thousand years?
Yeah, that seems like the opposite. Like, sleep is, like, specifically to turn your brain off.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Better yet, can I just, like, never sleep? That would be sick too. Like, sleep is great, but being awake is better. And sleep only feels good because our body needs it. But what if it didn't? What if I could just feel rested and awake 24/7, and then I could get twice as many things done?
I often think about, like, what if we could, you know, this is maybe like a metaphysical sort of question that some people will disagree with, but in my opinion, the human body is chemistry and physics.
Yeah.
Right? It's so if there were ways to replace, just like you replace an organ, right?
Yeah.
We get energy from food. Imagine if you could just plug yourself in. There was some way to transfer that
like
energy.
A calorie
you know what I mean?
outlet. Like, just plug it in.
Yeah.
And you're getting what you need.
Because then you could just, like, vape that flavored air all day long and, like, never have to eat anything.
That would be amazing.
I mean, not that eating is, like, you know, for some people eating is a joy, for other people
no,
it's
but
a curse.
But then it could then it's like if you had that, then the eating could be A, optional, and then B, exclusively for joy, you know?
Yeah.
I've thought about that. It's like I want like GMOs to get better, not worse. Like, you know what I mean? I want broccoli to taste like steak, and then I'll eat it. You know what I mean? Like, just make the healthy stuff taste good. This is Jesse's history lesson, Lamau. We took this technology, the ability to alter things, and we went only with the, like, cheap and profitable. What if we took it to, like, but no, I don't want to make freaking corn syrup. I want to make broccoli taste like Snickers. Not Snickers, that would be weird, but you know what I mean? I just want healthy stuff to taste better. I don't need stuff that already tastes good to taste the same, but be cheaper for you to produce, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, have you had the cotton candy? Like, have you had the cotton candy grapes?
Grapes, yes. Unreal, so dude. Good.
That to me was like grapes are already good, right?
But exactly. It's like great proof of concept. You nailed it. It tastes like cotton candy, but grapes are already good. Make kale taste like beef jerky.
Make grapes great again.
Make kale great again. Make grapes great again.
Hats.
Yes, cotton candy grapes are a real thing. They're, like, I think seasonal. I don't know how they do it, but they're really good. They really do taste like cotton candy. It's mad weird.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff when you talk about, like, GMOs, a lot of, and not that there's never been problems, there aren't necessarily problems, you know, like, whatever, but there so many of the issues that people have with GMO
Yeah.
anything, it all stems from the like natural fallacy.
Yeah.
That is, chemicals are bad, gross. It's like arsenic is natural.
Yes.
Fucking botulism toxin, is like the most
Salmonella
toxic.
is natural.
It's natural, right? Like,
yes.
So the whole idea that like natural is somehow good or better, it's just kind of nonsense.
Chemistry is natural. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Me and my wife talk about that all the time. Like, a lot of these words were just like co-opted, and it really does fracture over a long period of time someone's understanding of stuff like that. If you put these things in these like very specific buckets for a really long time, and it really does kind of replace some of that rudimentary, like, what is a chemical? You know what I mean? What does that mean? Chemical does not mean engineered in a lab for, profit. It's like chemistry is everywhere. It was here long before us. You know what I mean? And so chemicals, what is natural, what happens naturally, what's in food that's labeled natural. It's like you said, that doesn't mean that there aren't issues to be solved. And that definitely doesn't mean there aren't people who have made people sick or done things very unhealthily, branded them as healthy, for sure. But it is funny. Yeah, I've talked about that with my wife a little bit. Yep.
Bro, I gotta tell you, there is another game right now that is experiencing a crisis.
A crisis?
A crisis, yeah. And it's not Crisis.
Ooh.
That was a gamer joke.
But can it run Crisis?
Not this game. This game can't run Crisis because it's not Crisis. No. It's a game that is having for a few months now, probably longer. Honestly, probably a lot longer, but probably people are only just noticing it now because attention is brought to it. Serious net code issues.
Okay.
What can you guess?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the notes.
You're looking. So can you guess? Fuck! I literally changed it.
Oh.
So spoilers. We have a document that we both look at that. Chess is having
Chess's bad netcode is ruining the game.
Think about this, okay?
Okay.
Billion-dollar company.
Mm-hmm. Chess.com is a billion-dollar company? Damn.
I think so.
I mean, I guess chess is a pretty big game.
The average revenue 2 years ago, the revenue of chess.com $121 million. Jesus Christ. $339 million. Yeah, I don't know. We're talking lots of money.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, they have chess.com. Like, how did you get that fucking domain name?
Yep.
So think about when you think about networking and netcode and the issues that you have. Chess is like a fucking turn. It's not like it's a turn-based.
It is a turn-based game. Yeah.
And to think that they're experiencing.
What could that possibly mean, though? Is it just the netcode lag is eating into the time?
So your timer's ticking down.
Yeah.
And you have 1 second left. Now, if you have 1 second, you can get 10 moves in.
Yeah.
If you pre-move, I don't know if you've ever seen that before. You can pre-move, which is basically like, I'm going to move this here, and it'll get executed as long as it's a legal move as soon as. And they take off 0.1 seconds, right? Okay. So if you go up and pre-move, and there are times where I'll pre-move 4, 5, 6 moves in a row, and I'm bad at chess. So you'll pre-move with a second left, and then it'll be like, boop, boop, you're at 0.
Dang.
Because when we talk about like desync, right?
Yeah.
It's some kind of desynchronization between you, the client, and the server. So if your time, your clock, maybe like, I don't know how. It would be interesting to actually look into how they go about calculating the timer, right? But you would think in a 3-minute game, how hard would it be to start a timer when you make a move, then pause your timer at whatever the time is, right? But so here's the thing. Imagine you have a 5-second delay.
Yeah.
Really bad internet, right? You make a move with 10 seconds left. Your client is going to say 10 seconds left.
Yep.
They'll be sitting there 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. The move comes in and registers.
Yeah.
What they can do, there's 2 ways around that. A, they can just make it so that the opponent, they'll see 7, 6, 5, 10.
10. Yep.
Or you'll see 10 and like a spinner or something, and then all of a sudden you're at 5, which is like kind of what it does now.
Yeah.
There are times where I'll think I'll have enough time, and
interesting.
It happens enough that I'm like, I swear I had enough time.
Yeah.
And because you're like looking at the board, look at the timer, you're constantly, so if you miss it. So and there's been a bunch of drama around this one particular guy. He was like this guy Kramnik, former world champion.
Okay.
But he's like gone off the deep end. All he does is tweet like cheating accusations. Like he's kind of completely gone off the deep end, accusing many top players, including this one guy, Hikaru, who's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
I would say probably like second or third in the world right now, and accusing him of cheating because he'll play 50, 60, 70 games in a row and win. And the guy's like, oh, statistically impossible, blah, blah, blah. And he has all these statisticians doing work, and it's just like, it's bad. So, but basically, one of the people he accused of cheating, they actually had like a challenge where he was like, we're going to meet in person.
Mm-hmm.
They met, I don't know where it was. I can look. I think it might have been Spain, because this guy, his online name is Jospum, but his name is Jose. I don't remember what his last name is. Jose Martinez. Okay. It was in June in Madrid. They basically went head to head, and they played.
So they did meet up.
They met up. They played over the board games.
Yep.
So actual pieces in your hand, and then alternating with online games, but like LAN kind of basically.
Okay.
And Kramnik lost a few of the games. Now they had cameras and arbiters and everything set up, recording the screen, all this stuff. And I don't know what ended up happening. They didn't say, but he was like, my timer just went down from 13 seconds to like 3. Like, what the fuck just happened? And that turned out to be like a problem with like the Windows configuration, because they just installed Windows on the machine. And but everybody was kind of laughing at him constantly complaining about the timers. Like, I had more time. It's like, no, you just ran out of time. You're fucking slow because you're old and washed. Like everyone, when they play chess, you just get old and you become irrelevant. Because chess is surprisingly like a young
man's game. Yeah.
When you're playing, 60-second, 2-minute games where it's like move. You got 11 seconds and you have 50 moves to make, right? A lot of it is literally mouse speed.
Yeah.
And precision. Like, you have to be able to quickly grab pieces and move them.
Yep.
And it seems kind of laughable until you fucking try it on a trackpad at 2 a.m. and you'll lose every single game. But yeah, so it's been like they were kind of laughing at Kramnik for saying all this stuff, and then now a few pros, including Hikaru, I was just watching one of his videos last night, his timer did some funky shit, and he was like, wait a minute. He's basically like, oh great, now the Kramnik was right,
crowd
is all gonna but like I think he kind of was, like, because it's something that is a challenge.
Yeah.
A technical challenge.
Sure.
There's no way to handle networking issues in a way that won't annoy 50% of the player base.
Yeah.
Because it's either you give it to the guy with the networking issues that are out of his control that they don't even know about.
Yep.
If you're running around in a game, unless you're rubber banding.
Yep.
Which is also another annoying thing, that they do stuff behind the covers to, work around.
Yeah.
You very rarely rubber band in games these days. The game just keeps going.
Yeah, and then
kind of hopes
it out.
Yeah. Which is why you see the people like fast forward.
Yep.
The fast forwarding, when you see people who kind of look like speed hackers, the fast forwarding is the equivalent of the timer going from 9 seconds to 3 seconds.
Yes. It was trying not to rubber band, so it just let you continue moving in that state. Oh, shoot, I just realized you're actually supposed to be here, so let me just zip you over there. Yep.
Someone just said they should consider adding inertia to moving chess pieces. That's actually a thing. There's animations.
Yeah.
So like when you play bullet, you can disable the animations, but when you play bullet chess, which is 2 minutes or less,
okay,
the animations are off by default, because it's like that's just time.
Yes.
You can't see the whole. It's just too much time.
Yep. Yep.
When you have a 30-second game without increment, like imagine playing a game where it's like you have 30 seconds to play a game of chess. The timer goes down and never goes up. There's something called increment, where you can play like a 3-minute game with a 1 second increment. So your timer starts counting down, and you make a move, and it goes up by a second.
Yeah. So towards the end, when people are making moves fast, it's how they stay in like 3 to 5 seconds.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah. So, okay.
But it's a different game completely when you play without increment. It's almost like just don't get checkmated. Try to stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't run out of time. So usually it's like playing the worst moves possible just to play them. And I'll be just a little bit slower playing reasonable moves and lose every game against people who like sacrifice every piece they have. Because it's like I just couldn't checkmate them in time.
Yep. Dang. That makes sense. Like I can totally conceptually see everything. I guess the thing is like, what's fascinating to me is that like that it's just coming into attention now, because chess.com has been huge forever, and there has been many controversy, and chess has like come in and out of the cultural zeitgeist. I feel like a lot of times over the past 5 years, I'm just surprised that no one's really. You think it's like the Tarkov thing where you were like, why is he lagging? And I was like, wait, now I can't unsee it. Yeah,
because most people, they're not. When they run out of time, they don't realize you're playing and you hear bloop, bloop. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, because you're so focused, you're not looking at the clock turn 0.
Yeah. You're just
you know what I
the
mean?
Board. Yeah.
So most people, they see 3 seconds, they look at the board, and then the time's up, and the 3 seconds could have been 3 seconds, could have been 4 seconds, could have been 1 second. It's almost like, so I don't. Now, I'd be willing to bet that, kind of similar to the Tarkov thing, if you were to go search like the forums, there was probably references to people saying, hey, my timer, whatever, but it just wasn't a thing that like the top people were talking about.
Someone at the top. Yeah.
The streamers and the YouTubers that made chess popular, right, weren't talking about it. So people just assumed if those guys aren't talking about it, it must be me.
Yeah.
Or they don't notice it at all, right? So I just think that people don't. This goes back to my whole like thesis about like, I don't know, people just most people are on autopilot, and I don't mean that like I'm on autopilot a lot of ways for a lot of things. I just happen to have I have blinders on, and I'm focused on a very specific set of like certain technology and whatever. But
we're all on autopilot for 99.9% of the tasks we do. And so everybody will, stumble across something. But for most people, that thing, that niche thing, will just like never be noticed by the rest because we're all on autopilot.
It's the same thing where I remember playing GTA 3 when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. That was such a game-changing or life-changing game, dude. I used to just drive around and follow the traffic laws. Because I didn't have my driver's license yet, right? So it's like stopping at the stoplights. Like this is what it's going to be like. Yeah, I'm not running over the pedestrians. That's not a maniac. That's a normal gamer move. Yeah. Stopping at red lights in GTA. That's a fucking
what a
psychopath.
Maniac. You're psycho.
But there was a thing that I always felt in that game that I've experienced a few times in real life, which is you drive around, you see the same few cars, whatever, and then like you see this sports car and you're like, oh fuck, like I haven't seen the thing that looks like a Porsche, or there was one that I really loved that looked like the Dodge Viper.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Viper?
Oh yeah.
You don't see those anymore.
You really don't.
They probably all fucking exploded because they're made by Dodge. I just alienated 3% of our.
Yep.
Dodge trucks are great. I'll say that. Yeah, the Banshee or the Cheetah, one of the two. I think actually they were the same. Nah, maybe not. Cheetah was like the Lamborghini, maybe, or the Ferrari looking thing. Anyway, so you get in the car, and I'm like, you carjack the person, take the car, and you drive around. I'm like, yes, finally. And then like you pull up to the intersection, and there's like one pulls up.
Yeah.
Another one pulls. You're like, what the fuck,
dude?
Like, so I always thought that the game spawned
more
when you were in one, and this just, I just bought.
Yes, I was just gonna say this happens in real life. When you buy a car, you see them everywhere.
I had never even heard of, and I pay attention to car models.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that like I can see the silhouette of pretty much any car, and I'll tell you the fucking make and model in like the year range. I can do that shit with taillights,
Yep.
And I had just somehow never seen or heard of the BMW X3 Competition M. I just didn't know they made a Competition M model of their small SUV.
Yep.
Until I saw one on Craigslist and was like, oh fuck. And then I bought it. And then like the next day I saw one. And then like 3 days later I saw another and was like, what? It's GTA all over again.
It's crazy. Yeah. There's just like, but yeah, man, our brains see and our process just like an innumerable amount of information. And when you bring attention to a little sliver of it, you just realize how much of it is out there. But it's an interesting thing because of what our brains can also do and oftentimes turn conspiratorial. You know what I mean? Where like, wait a minute, like with cars, it's, a little bit more innocent, but with, your friend tells you a piece of information, that one guy, that one friend that watches the YouTube videos and he's like, bro, have you ever noticed? And then you kind of
never see the curvature of the earth.
And then you kind of start to see it. Yeah. And then it's, it's like your brain can almost betray you in that way because the two pieces of you, the conscious and the subconscious, sometimes don't always communicate like you would think they would,
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So anyway, this is me basically saying like people complaining about netcode when it comes to BSG, and Tarkov, and lots of other games.
Yeah.
It's a problem that any game that you think has perfect netcode, or even fantastic netcode, they're tricking you.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. Someone is being lied to because until everyone has gigabit, instant fiber, quantum internet.
Yeah.
and there's no longer pings above 10 milliseconds.
Yeah.
And there's no longer Verizon outages and whatever.
Yeah.
Then
some people are better at tricking you than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a technical problem that has to do with fucking physics, man. Like,
yep,
you're dealing with the speed of light inside of electrical cables, or
not in a vacuum.
That those cables sometimes were buried there by your drunk Uncle Tom and got hit by a tornado, or whatever the fuck.
Yep. It's true. It's true. Well, before we move on, I do want to take a quick second and thank the first sponsor of tonight's episode, and that is Chubbies. Listen, Chubbies, you know them from their shorts. I wear them quite literally all the time. Skies out, thighs out. I rock my chummies, but summer is coming to a close. Fall is approaching, maybe sooner for others than for me here in Florida, but it is approaching nonetheless. And as the weather gets chillier and crisper, your wardrobe needs a catch-up. And Chubbies has got you covered. Chubbies has all sorts of things. Ultra cozy comfort clothes that keep you feeling warm and looking better as the weather gets progressively worse. They have all sorts of things like flannels, warm pullovers, quarter zips, all sorts of stuff, not just the shorts. They're extremely comfortable. They're extremely well made. And so if you're looking, we were talking earlier about wardrobe and about getting stuff that's nice, that feels good, that fits good. That has been my experience with the shorts. I feel like for the first time, I'm not wearing either homemade jorts that I just cut out of old jeans or like shorts that just go down past my knee. I don't know. My short game, I wore jeans basically year round, even in Florida, because my short game was not there. It's there now. I got the 5-inch shorts, the little showing some thigh. I love it. So that also with, if you're looking for winter wear, a little bit more chilly temperature wear, Chubbies has got you covered.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we were just talking about the wardrobe. Yep. I got my Chubbies, the Dunes.
Yeah,
wearing the Dunes because getting a shirt that fits well, right? You want pants that fit well. And I, being a skinny guy, can never find pants that fit well, and these are like the perfect cut.
Yep.
And they're also super comfortable.
Yep.
They got the elastic, so it's like I don't have any shame.
Yep.
In getting a little bit of a dad bod, and being able to fit into my pants. It's just
the elastic,
it's just phenomenal.
Plus belt loop wombo combo, so you can use it in one. It's so nice.
Oh yeah.
They got the joggers, they got the pants, they got everything you need. So 100%. And also, if you're in a warm climate like me and you're looking for the shorts, obviously their short game is crazy. They have a ton of patterns. They have tons of different materials. They have tons of different lengths and different cuts. But also, as we move in, they have all sorts of shirts, nice, just like button-up shirts. It's called their Fridays shirts. Obviously, their insane line of swimwear and all of the more winter wear stuff, flannels, which I don't know how I don't have some chubby flannels. I need to get some of those because I'm a flannel guy. And I feel like all the ones I have are really thin and I don't like them anymore. So flannels, quarter zips, pullovers, all that kind of stuff. And it's comfy. It's comfy. And so for a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners 20% off with promo code POGCAST20 at checkout at chubbiesshorts.com. That is 20% off your order with the promo code POGCAST20. Support our show and tell them we sent you this fall. Make the most out of every moment with Chubbies. Shop now and fall into comfort, one stylish piece at a time. Thank you so much to Chubbies for sponsoring this episode.
Get chubby.
Get chubby. So yeah.
What's the deal?
Speaking of Netcode speaking of Netcode, no, I'm just kidding. Dude, honestly, there's really nothing going on in Tarkov land. As of now, no new patches, no nothing. Just been same old. It's been some really interesting conversations. Just like, once again, it's so funny. So like the game, we've been talking about this a lot recently. How like Now, not to, I want to preface this correctly. To me and to a lot of the people that I talk to and to a lot of streamers and to a lot of people that play a lot, if you're somebody that's brand new to Tarkov, of course, you're going to be, you're going to be climbing that mountain that is that learning curve. But I've been saying this for a while, and I've been saying it for so long that I've stopped saying it because I don't want to be annoying. But when other people bring it up, I'm always like, which is just that, like, when there's not like an overwhelming amount of new content, the feeling of the wipe, like early wipe, mid wipe, the feeling of like just being immersed in the game before you kind of get bored, just shortens and shortens and shortens and shortens. And this wipe, it feels like, I mean, we're not even 2 months in. I think it was August like 20th, which means September, October. It would need to be around October 20th for the wipe to even be out for 2 months. And we're getting all the things, you know what I mean? People are like asking about dead raids, people are, all the, did PvE kill Tarkov because I don't run into people anymore? We were doing some raids on reserve today and it was like crazy, like prime time, crazy how dead they were. And so a lot of those conversations come up, or people are like, man, do you feel like it's late wipe already? Do you feel this, that, and the other? And so this is in no way me being like, see, I told you I was right, because it's more of just an observation. It's just, I don't want to say it and have those conversations, like me initiate them every wipe, But it's so interesting because, and people are like, man, last wipe felt longer. And it's like, well, when you take a look at it, last wipe, we had like a ton of different changes. We had the introduction of seasons. We had the new recoil. We had the new armor. We had a ton of different things. It was very content rich last wipe. Whereas this wipe, it was kind of like new factory, new scav boss. You know what I mean? And so it's just, there's nothing to really tickle, what you got going on. And so it's just been interesting to see the response. Once again, if you don't feel that, if you're like, man, these no lifers and whatever, it's like, yeah, no, sure, for sure. You're right. If you have like 18 hours in the game and you're like, dude, what do you mean the wipe is over? Feel your feelings, my homie. But I've been receiving a lot of this from other people, and it's been just interesting, it just shows you how reliant we are on BSG to make a wipe feel good. And like, I've been watching a lot of my homies play DayZ, and like Frostline is like, because it's a new update that came out. It's like one of the first official updates from DayZ in like forever. And that community is thriving. And it's like, they're so much less reliant on
content.
Bohemia, exactly, on new content. Now, obviously, the caveat with DayZ is they have a crazy modding scene, and there's always new maps or new mods or whatever. You know what I mean? Heyo, turn the lights on. There's always that. So it's not like they have nothing, but just interesting from afar. It seems like they're so much less reliant on like already people are like, raise the boss spawn, do an event. We need an event, do an all, 100% boss spawn. And it's just like, man, we reach this critical mass, and every time we reach it sooner and sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's a giant spotlight on like, I think a fundamental flaw with the game and its, inherent replayability.
Yeah.
But
for sure,
at the same time, I hesitate to say that because it's like, oh, you got 10,000 hours out of the game.
For sure.
Then
and you're worried about replayability. That's super fair. You know what I mean? Which is a really interesting conversation about, because it's a give and take on that front, on that conversation, because if somebody was like, man, I didn't get 10,000 hours out of The Last of Us 2, I didn't get my money's worth. Like, that would be an insane thing to say, right? Like, the campaign's 28 hours long or however long it is. And, if you play it 3 times because you love the game, you're absolutely getting your money's worth. So on one hand, it feels really reasonable to say, you can't seriously be talking about replayability when you have 8,000 hours in the game, right? The flip side of that, though, is what does BSG want out of the player? Because League of Legends wants something different from their players than The Last of Us 2 does, than Naughty Dog does, right? The League of Legends wants you playing this game in their brain forever, right? They want you to never leave. They want you to stay and they want you to keep playing. Fortnite wants you to never leave Fortnite. They want you to stay. They want you to keep playing. Roblox wants you to never leave. So there's some element of that there where the BSG, and I'm not, and this is almost like a grander conversation about gaming than it is. I mean, we're using Tarkov as the kind of source here, but like, so what does BSG want? Does BSG want this to be kind of like a live service game? And regardless of what they want, they've kind of treated it like a live service game. So the other side of that coin is it's not ridiculous for people that have played a lot to be like, oh man, there's not really anything new this wipe and I'm bored already. So it's like, it's interesting. It's just like an interesting, I don't think BSG is going to treat this game like a live service game. I don't think BSG wants you playing Escape from Tarkov for the rest of your life. I think it is more finite than a League of Legends or a Fortnite or something like that. But it's just, that's just like the other side of that coin, a little pushback on the like, well, you already have 10,000 hours, you already have 8,000 hours. It's like, well, I think they want me here. And if they want me here, they have to.
I mean, yeah.
Great.
It also would be a different story if they just, like kind of what was alluded to in chat and kind of what you were saying is like if they just like fucking finished the game and it worked.
Yeah.
Then I would. Then it wouldn't. It wouldn't feel like you're getting shortchanged in some way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I can put if Nintendo had given me Ocarina of Time Alpha and then Beta, and then made minor updates and they kept tweaking it a little bit. They added this one new quest, they changed this over here, they improved the rolling. It's like maybe I could have gotten fucking 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Out of a game like that. So it's kind of like, if they didn't want to be treated right as a live service game, then they shouldn't have effectively been a like.
Exactly.
Effectively, they are a live service game.
Yeah.
All they've done is 24/7 maintain the game, servers, done constant updates. Like it's as if
early access games like are essentially temporary live service games. Like some early access games will be finished games that you just like play and complete and you're done and you put it down. But until that game is finished, the deal you're making, the deal that you're making with the developer and the deal that the developer is making with you is they're going, hey, look at our cool game. Do you want to help us make it? And you ostensibly by saying yes means you're interested not only in the final product, but in what's available now. And so that relationship, once again, is just a little pushback on the like, we have 10,000 hours, just be done. Well, it's like, well, they sold me the promise of the finished game, which I still don't have. And I'm excited for that. And I'm interested in what's now. So it is a little different. It is essentially some sort of live service game until the game is finished, because the devs got the people here, whether you're new, whether you're relatively new, or whether you've been here since 2016. That's what the devs did. They sold the promise of what the game could be, what this game is going to be when it's done. And and that has changed a lot, and that's okay, right? That's nothing new under the sun. Every game that has started early access has made changes and whatever. So I'm not even saying that through the lens of like, until it's everything you said it would be in 2016, it's not done. Not even that. It's just the point of an early access game is I'm interested in what you have now, and I'm interested in what you're saying it's going to be when it's done. So that kind of does, I don't know. Yeah.
So like every wipe, every iteration, it's like that much closer to this is the game.
Yeah.
This is the game.
Or at least
when
you
we play
hope.
it and we're like, when we're playing, it's like, it's not, I'm not excited. I don't, it's.
Yeah.
I'm not in love. It's almost like you reset every time there's a wipe, like your experience, your hours, almost your expectations like wipe.
Yeah.
And it's when you cure yourself from that element that.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying that this wipe didn't change a lot, so it's a bad wipe. Like I'm beyond that type of rhetoric. For me personally, like if the options were, hey, the things we're working on now are bigger things that take a lot longer, would you, like if you had asked me in August 1st, would you like us to wipe now and then but we'll do the big content next wipe, or do you want to ride it out? I feel like most of the community would say wipe now. So it's like I don't say that to say that because there's not a ton of content, it's not a quote unquote good wipe, however you would define that. Because I think there's two pieces of that conversation, which is how is the game developing on your side and what do you have new for us? But then separate from that, the game that we have today is progression based. And when everyone's at the end of that progression, there's a lot less carrot at the end of the stick. So just reset it. So, but I'm just saying that it's interesting to see what happens when the community, we're a few months in, right? Like, 2 or 3 years ago, 2 months into a wipe just felt so different. Like it didn't feel over already. And it feels over to a lot of people. Once again, if you don't feel that way, I'm not saying you're wrong in any stretch of the imagination. I feel like I'm going to have to say this a million times. But not just to me, to a lot of people, I'm receiving that feeling. I'm not trying to give it out.
Well, for you, historically, haven't you been, you tend to get over it like post Kappa. And this time you're like, I'm not even going to make it there.
Oh, yeah. For a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
And
there are some things, like people are bringing up in chat that are accelerating that, the non-found and raid fleet, the money coming in from arena, people, kind of like enjoying PvE more than PvP. Of course, this wipe is unique in that sense where you have a bunch of external factors accelerating that progression, accelerating that, there are more ways than ever to skip the fear of running out of rubles, right? Like if you have arena, there is no fear of ever running out of rubles because today I'll just grind last hero for a few hours. I've got a few million rubles I can send over, one day at a time to my Tarkov account. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but I'm just saying that there are some things that accelerate it this way. But yeah, it's just been interesting to see the vibes shift. They had it was almost like whiplash. There's wipe is always fun. Then drops is always fun. Then they did arena drops and surprised us all with arena's kind of fun. And then right after that, they did the streamer case thing, which was really fun in a week of craziness where everyone was trying to get their streamer case. And so it almost felt like 4 drops events in a row. And then the whiplash that came out of that. But because each of those events were a week long, we were a month into the wipe and then we just fell off a cliff. There was no thing. And then it was oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was by that point, a lot of people that put a lot of time into this game, a lot of people that main it, whether they're streamers or just players, were I kind of just have a ton of money now and a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
I wonder. So this is where I'm going to go against so many things I've said over the years, but I just wonder if I don't know that I can really put myself in the shoes of just let's say me 8 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years ago before I, was streaming and doing any kind of content creation, right? Just gaming in my free time.
Yeah.
I have no idea what my opinion about the game would be.
Now?
Because I wouldn't, yeah. Because I wouldn't have played it enough to get so frustrated to get beaten over the head with the same fucking dozen issues.
Yeah.
It's a different experience when you play it in moderation.
Yes. Yeah. I believe that.
So, playing 300 hours over the course of a year is different than 2 weeks.
Yes,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I just wonder if like
I feel that a little bit with like the Star Citizen community. Sometimes I like follow enough of them on Twitter to watch some of them implode, but I play it like 3 or 4 times a year, and it's like, it's just, so I get that. It does change
like a lot of the things you were talking about. Now I get you weren't making one particular point, but like when you were saying like, drops was fun, the streamer case thing was fun. I think like those things, like I wouldn't give a fuck about if I
as a regular player. Yeah, for sure. I was saying more from my perspective. Yeah.
So it's like a weird, there's like less things to almost be excited about, but less things to be frustrated about.
Yeah.
At the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just acknowledging that like I think I'm officially saying, I'm putting the marker down and saying I'm jaded and out of touch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still hold strongly to my opinions objectively and subjectively about the game itself. Sure. But I can't. Yeah. I don't even know what I don't know in terms of perspective.
For sure.
On what the experience is really like for people.
Yeah.
How good or bad it really is. How much longevity it has. Like if I started tomorrow, and what kind of made me think that was someone in chat had mentioned, and I looked it up. It's kind of crazy. So like when I think about Tarkov 1.0, I think about like just another wipe.
Me too.
Basically. Because if they're just making incremental changes, but so looking at, Satisfactory has been a decent sized game for a few years. It's been in pre-release for 5 years.
Yeah.
Looking at the Steam charts, it was basically between mid 2020 and August of this year.
Yeah.
They were literally at 17 to 30,000 viewers, just like this.
Players, like concurrent players.
Okay. Concurrent players. Okay. September, 186,000. Just. And now there's 60,000 players now. And just thinking like, can you imagine if 8% of the people who are going to play Tarkov when 1.0 comes out are the ones playing now?
Oh,
That can't be the case. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But like, you think that there will be so many people who just never heard of. I mean, I still every now and then have to say, like, have you ever heard of like this game called Escape from Tarkov? It's not Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. I think it's a combination. I genuinely think there's going to be a huge spike at 1.0. I think it's a combination of like, a lot of people are going to come back. Like, I think most people that quit Tarkov quit because like it wasn't what they wanted it to be and not because they were done with it. I think it's a streamer thing to quit because you're like, I'm burnt out and done with it. I think most people, like average Joes that quit, were just like, oh, I don't know, it's either too hard or this, or like it's just not. And so I think 1.0 will bring a lot of people back. And then, of course, whenever there's attention, it attracts new players for sure.
Now, but
the thing is Satisfactory was a good functional game at 1.0. And so that's my question about Tarkov. It's like,
yeah, and I can't speak to what it was like before that.
Yeah, before 1.0.
Other than people are saying like that feature wasn't in until 1.0. It's like, I can't imagine playing this game.
Yeah, without it. Yeah,
without being able to like copy paste.
Yeah,
without being able to have a hover pack.
Yeah,
like so maybe 1.0 comes out and it's got really great quests. The netcode's a little bit better, and all of a sudden now it's got it's open world and there's servers that you can host and whatever. It's like, but I don't know. Like, I wonder if they haven't already basically blown their load. Like if the big 100,000 viewers, streams during drops, like if that really wasn't,
I think that's a great question.
Moment.
Yep. I think that's a great question. Yeah, where I don't know though. I think like we'll never know. And in a cope-filled universe where they genuinely, obviously nothing is going to be perfect. We were just talking. If chess.com has issues with netcode, right? Like Tarkov's netcode is never going to be perfect. But in a cope-filled world where like genuinely huge strides were made in the consistency of the AI and them being like a fun part of the game, the netcode and desync not feeling so like egregiously bad, and the audio being like something you don't ever think about. You know what I mean? A nothing. If the audio became a nothing, not like, oh my God, this audio is great, but just like a nothing and stuff like that. I genuinely think that, the game could kind of like revive itself. If that was all centered around like this big marketing push of like 1.0 release, I really think the game could revive a lot of it. But who knows if that's going to happen? And you're definitely not the first person. I've heard a lot of people say that, like, man, I think Tarkov just had its moment too soon and it's never going to be able to recapture that magic. And maybe, you know what I mean? Because we talk about all the time. I've been saying recently that I don't even know what I want Tarkov to be now, because I always had this like really strict thing, really kind of strict, rigid idea of what I wanted Tarkov to be. But so many years have passed and so many things have changed and so many things that old me would have been like, oh, that's made the game way too easy. But then I've played with them for 6 years. Like if you just like deleted, 5 features that old me said ruined the game today, I would probably have a worse time playing. So it's like, I don't even know what I want the game to be. It's very clear, or at least it appears to be very clear. BSG doesn't know what they want the game to be. Like they can't decide, you know what I mean? They're like, here's a bajillion rubles, buy stuff off the trader and sell it off the flea. Go play Last Hero. Your daily gives you 400,000 XP and 4 million rubles. But then when Nikita is asked like, hey, can we not have scavs like tactical nuke me silently? He's like, game's supposed to be hardcore. So even their messaging with like what they say and what they do, it feels like they're not sure what they want the game to be. So I don't know. Like, and so I less than ever feel like I'm confident enough to make assertions about like, they just need to do this. This would make the game better. This would get the old people to come back, or they should do this instead to get new people. I feel less confident because I don't even know what I want the game to be, because I feel like I've been playing 2 games almost at the same time for so long. So my confident assertions now are almost exclusively around like the audio must be better. The cheating is really bad. The desync could be better. The AI, like what are we doing? Pick a direction and go in it. Like those I feel confident enough to say. But I used to have all these super strong opinions about the flea market or this or how fast you can make money or early wipe. And I don't even know anymore. You know what I mean? And nowadays I have such a hard time being like, I don't know, yucking people's yum and being like, dude, you love PvE? I mean, that's kind of sick. You get to play Tarkov and not worry about the bullshit. You know what I mean? Oh, you have never had 10 million rubles before and you're getting to, oh, that's cool. Maybe Arena helped you out. Like, I just don't know anymore, which is fine. Who cares what Jesse thinks? But I guess I hope they know what they want the game to be, and that can become clear. I don't know, but that's what I hope. I hope they know what they want the game to be. Who cares what I want the game to be? I didn't even bring that up to say that what I want the game to be is important. But I hope they know.
You're important.
I hope. Thank you.
Has anyone told you today that you're important? Hey, viewers, has anyone told you today that you're important and that you're loved?
You matter.
You matter. Except you, Joe Smith.
Yeah. Steven.
There's one Joe Smith in the audience. Like, oh, fuck.
So,
maybe?
Yeah. I don't know. Just Tarkov things, dude. Like, I'm feeling like enlightened a little bit. I'm just like releasing how I feel about the game, in my opinion.
You really are me on a 6-month delay,
it's
dude.
So true. It's so true. Except I'm still playing. That's the only difference.
I can't wait till you're playing like Prison Architect 2 or whatever, and you're like, this game is such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's just like some random ass shit.
But like we've been doing like weird stuff on stream that's genuinely been so fun. Today we were doing me, Trey, and some man were doing gamble streams where we were 0 to heroing labs, and all three of our chats would have channel point predictions on which one was gonna die first. And so just like between the three channels, it was just tens of millions of channel points getting gambled every raid. And we were just 0 to heroing. And it was like so fun. And just like nobody cared if we died. The other day, me and Hambino did like cheap versus expensive guns, where we would buy a stock gun, run a few raids. We'd spend like 150,000 rubles modding it out. And then we would spend like 1,000,000 rubles modding it out. And it was like, which one's better, cheap versus expensive? And I genuinely have had so much more like joy and fun playing the game when we're like just goofing off and having fun.
Yeah.
And I just care so much less to like argue or, you know, like it feels like I kind of have half of an analogy and I don't know how to, you'll help me get the other half.
I got it coming.
It feels like 2016 Tarkov was like a wax sculpture of the Mona Lisa. And every year, the temperature of the room went up by 10 degrees. And so in 2017, it was slightly different. 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. And what's happening is now you have people that just came in that are like, good soup. I love it. And they're swimming around in the soup that was the wax sculpture. And you have a lot of people that have been around for the beginning that don't even remember what it looked like. They all think they do, but they all argue about what it looked like. And that's where it just feels like it doesn't have a frame anymore. It doesn't have a structure. I don't remember if it was the Mona Lisa or if it was Starry Night. I remember it was a picture. It was a wax sculpture of something back in 2016, but I don't remember what it was.
Now there are people that'll tell you now it's always been abstract art.
Yes. And some people that came in 2021, it was half melted, half up, and they'll say that it was abstract art. The people that are in now say, well, it's always been soup. It's always supposed to be soup. And then the people that have been playing for a long time are arguing about like what painting it was supposed to be. And all the while, BSG, they remember what the painting was in 2016, but in those 8 years, they've decided they want it to be a different painting. So they want it to be one painting. We all think it was one painting. You guys think it was abstract art. You guys think it's soup. And it's like, what is it? I don't know anymore, you know? So that's my analogy.
Yeah, it's up to Nikita will...
And that's kind of what I feel like 1.0 is going to be. They're going to take the soup, cast it into something new, stamp it, and ship it. And like, no matter what they do, 70% of the player base is going to be like, what the fuck, dude? And they just have to. And I almost respect that. Even if they cast it into something I hate, I would almost rather that. Like, this is what Tarkov is. Stamp that shit and push it out. Hey, yo. So, that's kind of what I think is happening. Yeah?
Where did you get fucking Cockney, Jesse?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, before we move on, talk about the last few Tarkov things and maybe some other things happening, I do want to take a second and thank the second sponsor of this episode, and that is Turtle Beach. Man, Legends. If you don't know Turtle Beach, you should. They're like the OGs in the gaming space. We talked about this a lot last time. The Turtle Beaches were like, dude, it was whatever I was saving money for. You know what I mean? Your friend had it and it was like, oh, shoot, you hear everything.
I would not have been a gamer, I don't think. Honestly, dude. Like Turtle Beaches are what turned me into a gamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what went from being a casual COD 4 enjoyer to like
initiate
to like
sport mode gamer.
To now I can now I can bet money on COD games because
for sure.
These headphones are so good.
Turtle Beach, the number one brand in gaming headsets and accessories. They sent us their new Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. Obviously, you see us a lot of times wearing IEMs, but I said this last time, I still, to this day, often swap to headphones. I use both, and so I still very much so appreciate a good pair of headphones. The Gen 3 Stealth 700 is Bluetooth. Its battery life is 80 hours, which is insanely long, and it charges really quick. The ear cups are genuinely so extremely comfortable. Like, I know memory foam is the thing to throw around, but genuinely, it's like you put them on and just like a 2-second settle period where you just like, they are now one with my face. They're really nice. They sound really good. They sound really clear. They got the mic if you want it. Flip it up if you don't. Yeah, they're great. They're awesome. And Turtle Beach doesn't just make headsets. They make all sorts of stuff. I had their website up earlier. They got a lot of controllers, which I didn't know they started making, but I know that like custom controllers are like a really big thing now. Controllers, keyboards, all sorts of accessories. They got like flight sticks and racing stuff now. So a lot more than just headsets. So for any of your gaming accessory needs, you can definitely check out Turtle Beach. And once again, the Gen 3 Stealth 700 really are premium. They feel really nice. They sound really good. So you can get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today for a limited time only. Head to turtlebeach.com and use code PODCAST for 10% off your entire order. That is 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code PODCAST. Thank you so much to Turtle Beach for sponsoring this episode.
Legends.
Literally legends.
Absolute legends.
So yeah, I mean, like, nothing happening in Tarkov, but just like interesting to see, you know, everything that's happening. I feel myself really truly becoming the jaded, frustrated, gamer. And I don't know what happened, but I just feel like I saw it happening and like got that perspective. And there was, I don't know. I can't remember if I said this on the podcast. So I'm not trying on the PP or if I said it on last week's podcast. I'm not trying to repeat myself, but I posted a video and one of the comments, obviously, YouTube comments for the win. But one of the comments was, your content was so much better when you didn't complain all the time. And I remember thinking, he's right. Not what a dick, I remember thinking, he's right. And that was like a moment where I was like, dude.
Well, to be fair, they're not mutually exclusive. You can be a dick and be right.
Sure.
Do these pants make me look fat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. For sure. And I'm not saying that that's in any way. Yeah, exactly. You should say that. But it was just for me personally in that moment. It was like, I was like, damn, dude, he's right. It was like a highlight video. And I just like watched it back and I was like, I don't know. So I'm trying to not give a shit, right? Like enlighten myself, just be, realize that, I don't know, doesn't matter. They're doing their thing. None of my molding has ever resulted in any positive change for the game. So I don't know. We're trying.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that. Like, listen, you sharing your 2 cents, giving your feedback, whether it's from the podcast or whether it's just community sentiment, or the fact that, just having a Twitch channel with a minimum amount of followers instantly gets Nikita to do 45% of what you complain about, regardless of. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, other than the Discord where we're all allowed to make one wish a month. Yeah. And that change happens no matter what Nikita thinks. Other than that, yeah. So the only other thing, Tarkov related thing I was going to talk about is, and we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier when we were talking about like getting 10,000 hours out of the game, whatever, do they owe us more content or whatever? This is like, dude, this is a little vent, but the Tarkov community is so crazy. Their concept of time is out of control. We have because like the new thing now, and I do it every time I die, you always inspect the profile, right? You're always inspecting the profile because sometimes
I'm so glad that feature was in the game for like a month when I was playing last.
Yeah.
Like I never had the ability to really do that.
Yeah. Because sometimes, dude, there have been a few times where I died and nothing about it seemed sus. And then it was like 12-hour account, kill a mask, Zabralo, no buffer tube, RSAS, and he has 1,000 raids. And you're like, okay, nothing seemed sus. I was like running and I got sniped, But the flip side of that is the amount of times I hear like, I'll check an account just to see like the gun he was using that I died to or whatever. And people will be like 500 hours and he's already level 42. No way. Sus. And I'm like, do you know how long 500 hours is? Like I can count on one hand how many video games I've played for 500 hours. Like, and this
because they hear the 10,000 hour number, 7,000, 8,900, that like those, that's what you need to do, right? To get to that level.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's also a lot of like, there's so much cope that everybody was as bad as I was when I was new. Like, Tarkov was my first PC game. I will gladly be the first person to tell you that at 1,000 hours playing the game, I was still dog ass at the game. Like, it took me forever to get good at the game. But that doesn't mean, like if you see, like, 500 hours and they're level, like, 48 with a 52% survival rate, like, that's not crazy, man. The dude has just played a lot this wipe. Like, that's not crazy.
Bro, these are the same people that, like, they're the same people I see in the YouTube chats for these trials that they go, did you see them raise their shoulders? The body language is, it's everything you need to know. They believe a thing for other reasons that are they're motivated to believe, whether it's their ego, whether it's whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they cannot possibly conceive of a world where the thing that they assumed isn't 100% true.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it's like some people are just good at video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. You take Glorious and you just throw him into Call of Duty or whatever. After 500 hours, that dude's going to be a monster, right? So it's like, yes, Tarkov is its own animal and Tarkov has a steep learning curve. But if you're like good at video games, and you hop into Tarkov with 3 friends that have been playing for several wipes now, you can get level 50 your first wipe. You can get Kappa your first wipe. You can get level 50 in a few hundred hours. Like,
especially
I never played a PC game before. Of course it's going to be different for me. Like,
especially considering that there's a wiki page and 7,000 YouTube guides for literally every quest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your experience is not the same as everyone else's experience.
Yeah, like, and it must be an alt account. That's one thing, like, gotta be an alt. It's like, dude, oh my God. Like, it's so, 500 hours. You know what I mean? If you played 50 hours a week, every week since the wipe, you still wouldn't be at 500 hours. Anybody that played 50 hours a week this wipe, anyone else would call a try-hard Giga Chad sweat.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see, they've only played this wipe and they already have 500 hours, suddenly it's sus. It's like, no, he's just a try-hard Giga Chad sweat that normally plays other games. That try-hard Giga Chad sweated this game now. His survival rate's 42%. He's not crazy. You know what I mean? It's just, now, once again, I'm not saying hours is always nothing. Once again, if I see 750 raids, 11% survival rate, Masca, Killa Armor, RSAS, 92 hours, I'm reporting that dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's sus. But that metric of like when the gray area of sus starts is like 300, 400, 500 hours for so people. And it blows my mind. That's just like, that's a long time to be playing a video game. Like, you can get okay at a video game in 300 hours. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just crazy.
I mean, I don't know. Like, people need to take a step back sometimes and just ask themselves, try to be creative. It's a challenge. Don't take this as like, don't take this as like a criticism. Take it as a challenge. Imagine that you were at your job and your boss is like, I'll give you a bonus. We're giving a fucking $10,000 bonus to the employee this week who can come up with X idea. And the idea happens to be, what's a reasonable, remotely plausible explanation that isn't they were cheating?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you can think of at least 3.
At least.
Maybe they RMT'd everything and they aren't cheating.
Yeah.
They RMT'd all the items and they've never survived a fucking raid. And maybe it's, like, again, there's just, in 2 seconds I came up with that one. There's no point in me coming up with fucking others at this moment. But just take it upon yourself to think, what are some of the alternate explanations?
Yeah.
And do that not just with cheaters, but with netcode and with other problems and with medicine and politics and family relations and your relationship problems. And just take a step back, take a moment to think, how could I reasonably be wrong?
Yep.
And you will get a lot
far,
further than you think.
You'll get far in life. And it's so hard to, the reason I vent it is because I try not to even engage super deeply in chat, because it's one of those spirals where, like, the more I defend that it's plausible this guy is good at the game, the more it's interpreted that I am 100% confident this guy isn't cheating, which was never the point. The point was nothing I'm looking at would in and of itself lead me to believe he's overwhelmingly suspicious. This guy could have been using radar and, you know what I mean? I just happened to be like out in the open and I got shot, so it didn't look sus. But I'm just saying, it's like, we talk about this all the time. If we're going to be right, we got to be right for the right reasons. But the more I talk about how many plausible scenarios there are for a guy shooting me while I was standing still looting with 300 hours, like that's when it gets really funny, where it's like a guy with 14 hours. I'm like standing still, like typing a Discord message, and I die. But because he's got 14 hours, it seems sus. It's like, hold on, dude. I was the easiest kill of that guy's life.
But you weren't making any noise. He must have been stream sniping. Yeah, had to know where you were, and he came right up to you. And
it's like, the more I try to explain that, the more it feels like I'm saying this guy in particular was not cheating. Which, what I'm saying is that how would I know?
But you know why people jump to that conclusion? Because they live their entire lives under the assumption that like they never exist in limbo.
Yeah, they never exist in an undecided state.
Right? Nothing's ever tentative. It's always you pick a hill to die on and you die on it, no matter what, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's true. So, just a funny little thing that's been happening recently that makes me chuckle, because I'm like, dude, 500 hours is so long. Like I had one the other day, and he was like, I was literally running full sprinting and I died. I think I had my flashlight on too. And I was like, yeah, but at 500 hours, I didn't know those angles. And I was like, the angle of, because he was like crouched leaning. I was like, the angle of I'm hearing an elephant stomping at me that direction at 500 hours. You didn't know to be like, there's a guy over there, and point your gun in that direction. Like sometimes when I'm having these conversations, I'm like, bro, the call is coming from inside the house. If you're telling me at 500 hours, you didn't know how to listen and shoot, then maybe that's a you problem more than it is a this guy problem. I don't know. Oh, dude.
Good point.
Crazy. Anyways, that's Tarkov. Outside of that, any other games got your attention? Other things going on? Delta Force is coming back for a week next week at Steam Fest. I was hoping they were just going to be like playable now at Steam Fest, but they said they're going to do a 1 week playtest, which is better than nothing. So we get that.
Yeah,
next
no,
week.
I mean, right now, Diablo just had like a major update.
Saw some people playing that.
Yeah, I think there's a new character, new season, new story, whatever. I'm fully cracked out on Satisfactory. Satiscractory is more like it. So I'm like literally, what I think is my plan right now is probably to play this until I lose my mind, and then maybe jump back into Diablo a little bit, which will probably last like 2 or 3 weeks max, and then I do want to check out Factorio, just because
I'm sure you've been hearing about that a lot more playing Satisfactory.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's like fucking iPhone versus Android, like fucking Red Sox Yankees. It's like Factorio, Satisfactory. So a lot of people are like, Factorio's just the better game, blah blah blah. Other people are. I obviously I can't know until I play it. But I have a feeling that Satisfactory is just going to be more enjoyable overall. I probably would get totally addicted
to both.
To both. There's just something about, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the whole tower defense thing that kind of just like,
yeah.
I just want to kind of chill, and there's already spiders. and that's like,
that's enough.
So that's enough, dude. Spiders and Satisfactory, which I just showed Jesse earlier.
Creepy ass.
But yeah, spiders. otherwise no, there's nothing else really.
Were you ever like an MMO guy? I'm sure we've had this conversation a lot. Did you ever get into one? Do you ever want to get into one? Was it just like one of those things where it didn't like overwhelmingly you didn't overwhelmingly want to get into an MMO?
When I think about MMOs, I think about this one particular episode. For the 3 people in the audience that are gonna know this video,
okay,
there's an episode of Monster Factory,
okay,
which is the Griffin and Justin McElroy, the McElroy brothers. They did like the Adventure Zone the podcast.
Okay.
And my brother and me. They also have a YouTube series called Monster Factory, where every game that they can find that has like a character creation, like PGA Tour 2013 to modded Skyrim.
Yeah.
They take the sliders and like minimize or maximize every slider possible to make a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And some of them are buck wild. Like, you can fuck up some characters in some games, like Mass Effect. They were like polygons sticking out of his head and shit. And it's just hilarious, the content that they make, because they come up with a whole story and they give him a name and all that shit. What the fuck were MMOs? One of the ones that they did was had to do with Black Desert Online.
Yeah, BDO.
Which I believe is an MMO. And it's so funny because the fucking UI in that game, there's like a quest marker popped up on screen. There's like a black smoke monster orb that follows you around that's constantly popping up pop-ups. There's 900 icons on the screen. There's just like, whenever I see MMOs, I'm just like, I don't want a 700-page manual to like learn how to play it. But I also recognize that like every game is like that when you look at it.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Satisfactory, you're probably like, what the fuck am I looking at? But I, know everything, and it's because you learn 1 and you learn 2. And then you learn 3. But yeah, no, I got my I had a rogue wood elf in World of Warcraft that I got to level 2, so that I could unlock a Hearthstone card back.
Yeah.
and then instantly closed the game and never opened it up again.
Nice. Yeah. No, I feel that. MMOs, like the reason I bring it up is like Throne and Liberty came out, which is I think published by Amazon Game Studios, but I think it's a Korean MMO that is like kind of being ported over here. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways,
I've heard people talk about it.
A lot of people are playing it. I've been watching a lot of people play it. It looks cool because it's like new and polished. You know what I mean? Like, WoW. You know,
what are the graphics like?
I mean, like, I don't know, not realistic, but like modern. Like, they're good. Like, the game looks beautiful.
Like stylized.
Not overly stylized. No, pretty just like classic. I would say, yeah, there's like, I've even heard that as a criticism of the game. It's like the game looks beautiful, but it's like just fantasy. You know, they just pulled the fantasy theme out of the
fantasy bullshit.
Yeah, UE, gotcha. Like, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I just like, man, I've always wanted to play an MMO. Watching people play Throne and Liberty, like now is not the time. I've been like following Ashes of Creation a lot, and like the only experience I had was OSRS before it was old school RuneScape, when it was just RuneScape. In 9th grade, I went to this like school where you needed a computer. So my parents bought me a laptop, is like this cheap compact, ended with a Q, compact laptop. Yeah, compact. And I played RuneScape on there with some of my friends for a few months. And it was so fun. I just like, there's something in me that I know is built for games like that. Like, I'll just spend 14 hours cutting trees with my friend to get logging level 99. Like, there's just, and mining and all the different like dungeons and running content over and over again. Like, when I finally got hard into Destiny and the Division, which is or very MMO,
the grind.
Yeah, MMO like, where you run this one hard version of the mission over and over and over and over again, hoping for a drop for your build. Like, so I got into a little bit of that with like those type of games on console. You know, I tickled my brain with it a little bit with RuneScape back in the day. And I just like,
interesting.
I know I would get deep down a rabbit hole. It's just finding the right one. And like, I don't know, that's a big jump to like try and do that on stream from like Tarkov to chopping logs all day. But I just saw Throne and Liberty, and I've been living vicariously through a lot of people that have been playing it. And that's the other thing, is like I almost want to get into an MMO so hard it's all I play for several years, which is why I've like been apprehensive to get into like Throne and Liberty or back into New World. It's like, I want there to be a time where I start playing a game and don't stop for 5 years. And that's not healthy. I can't do that right now. You know what I mean? I can't do that right now. So,
not healthy for your mental or for your wallet?
Probably both.
Or both.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Dude, yo, what if I did? What if I pictured old school RuneScape while I was loading into Tarkov raids? Holy shit, that might be the play.
Why not, dude? I mean, when I was playing, I don't know if it was when Tarkov, the last few times I played Tarkov, I think I had like Pokemon emulator.
Yeah.
Fuck, I mean, I still pull up chess even while I'm sitting there clink 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 and Satisfactory every now and then. It's something takes 30 seconds or a minute. I play a bullet game of chess.
Dang.
Why not, dude? It's rather than listen to my music. pull up some fucking old school RuneScape, dude. For the longest time, you know that game OSU?
Yes.
I thought when people were talking about old school RuneScape that they were talking about OSU.
Ah, yeah.
So OSRS to me was always the really weird, twitchy, mouse clicky game where, you know what I mean? Like, so now when you say OSRS, and I'm like,
damn,
I didn't know you played that, dude. Like,
that's funny.
It's like Dance Dance Revolution for your finger.
Pretty much. But yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of that. Delta Force coming out next week. Beautiful Light has been doing some play tests again, which I'm still super interested to see how that game develops. It looks
how
amazing.
It does look pretty sick. Do you think is that just something that's kind of like on your radar?
Yeah.
That you don't have like any plans for really?
No,
or?
they were doing some creator playtests, and I genuinely am sad. They reached out to me. They're awesome people. I think we both do the playtest last time? I did a playtest a while ago, and
no, for beautiful.
Okay, yeah, they're awesome people. He reached out to me, and I just am so busy. I just forgot to sign up for one of the playtests. So it's a game that I would totally play and check out.
Blacklisted.
Yeah, blacklisted. But it is still, and they'll tell you this, they still got a ways to go, right? But it's doing some really interesting things. The vibes are very like, you know, in a way,
that's
old
the one that's
school
like kind of
Tarkov. It's like
steampunk-ish a little bit.
It's like very stalkery. Very stalker.
Stalker's got some steampunk.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Vibes.
But like very stalker, very atmospheric. It's built in Unreal. It's gorgeous. They're showing off a lot of like the PDA stuff on the arm, which I think looks sick. It's got some.
Oh, I did see that on Twitter.
Yeah, it's got some horror aspects with all these like anomalies and some monsters. It has what is it called? Asymmetrical gameplay, where like you play as the monster. Is that what you call that?
Yeah, like fuck, what was the game that I played?
Oh, was it Level 0?
Level 0, that's like an asymmetrical game.
And then like Evolve was a classic one. I don't know if I like that stuff. I think what they've said about the asymmetrical stuff is that it's like super kind of just like a side quest. Like you don't have to play as that, but that's almost like your scav run where you can like...
I was going to say like scav
Yeah,
runs.
you can do that if you want to, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's also, I'm not super clear on like what the goal is of the game. It's like an extraction thing, but there's like hacking and an anomaly. I don't know. It's just something that the guys that are making it seem dope, and it looks so atmospheric and so cool that I just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, ooh, I got to keep that on my radar. I don't know if it'll end up being a game that I like, or if they'll finish it this year or in 8 years. Like I really have no skin in the game, but it just looks so cool. It's just got good vibes. So,
yeah, I got the same kind of vibes from Death Stranding. Honestly, I thought that was like a beautiful looking game. But then all I saw was like tripping montages, and that kind of turned me off.
Yeah,
Death Stranding was one of those games where it's like I would watch like a video essay on.
I watched
and not play.
I'm pretty sure
game.
I watched a 2-hour video essay on the entire lore, what happens in the game, what happens throughout
incredible.
The whole thing.
I want it to be a movie.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be a game.
Same, because it's Konami, right? Or Kojima. I'm sorry if I'm whatever.
Konami.
It's the Metal Gear Solid guy. And
yeah, it's Konami.
It's Kojima.
The Konami. In order to make it, he had to write the Konami code.
Listen, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like I want Death Stranding to be a 10-episode HBO TVMA like series. You know what I mean? Like that would be sick.
TVMA. Eh?
Yeah.
TVXXX.
TVXXX.
With Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus, yeah.
Norman Reedus
Vin
with
Diesel.
the fetus. Norman Reedus with the fetus.
You ever see that movie XXX? Triple X?
Yeah, it was Triple X. Yeah.
Vin Diesel. Rammstein was playing in the opening scene.
Is it Rammstein?
Rammstein?
See, I had a little bit of a existential crisis the other day because their name was like Weinstein, and they resubbed to me, and I was like Weinstein. I'm like, fuck, I don't know which one it is. Fuck, and I just was like, oh yeah, Weinstein. Thanks for the resub.
Dude, you ever try and time the reading of the name while the TTS message is going so that they can't really like understand?
Now I just am like, yo, what up? K, what up? You know,
W.
Like, yeah. They take the coward's way out.
Dude, I'm with you. But yeah. But that's really it. Nothing crazy happening in the gaming world. I mean, what is it? It's October. We're coming up on the end of the year. Are there any like crazy holiday releases? I know Stalker 2 is actually coming out in November, I think, which will be cool. But like, there's no other like big holiday games, I don't think. Is there?
None that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but
yeah,
there's like nothing.
Yeah, I guess what I'm looking at is so narrow. You know, it's oftentimes what I'm looking at is like PvP shooter games. You know what I mean? So
wait, PoE 2, 15th of November? That has to be like what? Like a fucking beta or something?
Oh, dang.
It's not releasing, right? Or is it?
Google it.
Sir?
Beta first. First 4 acts.
Huh.
Yeah. Path of Exile 2 early access is set for November 15 with a full release to follow.
Yeah, well, yeah, Tarkov's full release to follow
Yeah,
as well.
full release to follow.
What a nothing statement. Was that Polygon, an article? Like,
no, it was just the like AI summary when you Google something now. I hate it.
Are those AI summaries?
Yeah. They say it a lot of times. It'll be like AI powered summary.
What? I guess I just don't Google things anymore.
Yep.
I don't trust Google.
You Bing things now, don't you?
Yeah, I Chandler Bing.
You're a big Binger. You edge things.
You just called me a Binger? That's racist to someone.
To Bing users.
Yeah.
Bing.
Yikes, dude.
Chandler Bing.
Chandler fucking Bing.
Does anybody actually use Bing though? That's the question. Anyways.
My grandma.
Yeah.
Just kidding. She uses the Facebook status box as her search.
Oh my God.
She's unironically one of those.
Yeah. Which is so inefficient, but so old person.
It is inefficient to type in like Salisbury steak recipe and then just post that.
Yeah, and just wait for somebody to post the recipe.
Dang. No, you that's unintentional, right?
Huh?
You know that's unintentional, right?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
that would actually be kind of big brain. Like crowdsource. I'm crowdsourcing it.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
Wait a minute. Is my grandma actually way smarter than I thought?
Yeah.
Way more clever.
Interesting. Anyways, that is the stuff. Thank you guys, as always, for hanging with us. And if you want more of the podcast content, you can go to patreon.com/thepogcastpod, where you can get early ad-free access to these episodes if you miss them, and even an additional episode every single week where we take your questions. There's a Discord. Things get weird over there on the Patreon.
Yeah, it gets a little weird.
Which is great. So if you're interested in that, patreon.com/thepodcastpod. Thank you guys for hanging. Thank you to Chubbies and Turtle Beach for sponsoring this episode. You're beautiful. I love you. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
Be safe.